Let me say clearly that some of the actions of government gives me the glimmer of confidence and hope that something ultimately nice may just be in the horizon. I say this advisedly. For years, we have spoken, we have written, we have organized conferences and symposia on the need for a restructured Nigeria, on the need to make Nigeria workable, on the need to unbundle and dismantle this unwieldy superstructure. But unfortunately, some people masquerading to be genuine northern leaders have said no to it. Unfortunately, those who rode to power preaching about true fiscal federalism and resource control, no sooner had they gotten to power than they threw uh, that programmatic off the window. But as you and I talk, I celebrate the present discourse on the political amphitheater, ditto the fact that some northern leaders are responding. Some are saying that the North is ready for restructuring. Some are threatening that if you send FAN to Lagos, and you ask yourself, where naturally should FAN be? If that's the Federal Aviation Authorities of Nigeria, or you ask yourself, where's the commercial headquarters of Nigeria? It's clearly Lagos. Should you, because of politics, centralize? We run a pseudo-federalism. We run a dysfunctional system. But I've told northern leaders in various fora that if they are true to the North, they will understand that the North is far richer than the South, and they will embrace the call for restructuring. That way, we will have a federalism that works. That way, we'll have a system and a government that is not only responsible, but responsive to the needs of the people. That way, we will have the return of the pyramids of granite, the sesame seeds, and the silos that otherwise made northern Nigeria extremely wealthy in maize and in grains. That way, we'll have the return of the pyramids of cocoa and the wealth that the Southwest got of cocoa. That way, we shall have a country that works, a country that is effective, a country that is rich, a country that essentially you have the states in healthy competition. But unfortunately, because those who should pretend our country are lazy, unfortunately, because they would rather dip their hands into a collective till rather than grow wealth, Nigeria has become largely a rent-taking and a rent-seeking nation. But you know, advertently or inadvertently, the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration is making that discussion imperative. And that's what I salute. You know, I'm one of the happiest persons in this country at this point, because it is clearly obvious that we will sit at the table of brotherhood sooner rather than later to discuss about the structure and the basis of our coexistence as a people. I want to see, and I say this with the greatest sense of commitment, I want to see a North that works. I want to see where my brother Musa is not an Amajari on the street, but is in school. I want to see where Amina is not a girl held somewhere and forced into child marriage, but a girl who's doing well in a chosen field of hers. I want to see a country where people mine their resources. The gold that is the reason for banditry and terrorism in Zamfara, in Katsina, and in some part of the North is mined by the state through the local government and the private sector, and certain amount of that wealth sent to the federal government for the upkeep of the Nigerian armed forces, the foreign policy of government, rather than this corruptive superstructure that is very archaic, this corruptive superstructure that is very unwieldy, this corruptive superstructure that is unworkable and extremely dysfunctional. And I say this without fear of querulous critics. The federal government has no reason being involved in the Federal Government Girls College in my hometown of Ibuzo. The federal government has no reason being involved in the purchase of newspapers and laptops in the Federal Government College Janiki in Lagos. The federal government has no reason being involved in road construction in Abia State or Sokoto State. States should take control of their resources and be responsible for this. And I tell you, there is no state in this country that does not have mineral resources. And then interestingly, the greatest human resource is mankind, the human resource. The greatest resource anywhere in the world is human resource. What wealth does Singapore? Are you aware that Singapore has the most prized passport in the world? Do they have mineral resources? Come on, I think that the time has come for, and that's why I thank the Almighty God. Maybe perhaps He allowed us to have a Tinubu who will take certain decisions, albeit inadvertently, that will compel a national discourse along the lines of restructuring, along the lines of true fiscal federalism, along the lines of devolution of power. Because I'll give you a practical instance, Njenje. The only way to truly fight corruption is to allow for resource control and true fiscal federalism. And you ask me how? If you were from Delta State and you know that the town of Uborikoko around the Sapele Warrior axis has 60,000 barrels of crude oil. And your local government chairman through the state governor says, oh no, it is 30,000 barrels of crude oil. The local community will challenge it. That's how to fight corruption. That was what happened in the First Republic. When the corruption for which the First Republic was terminated was 10%ers. Remember Nzogu and co. 10%ers. Now you don't have 100%ers. They steal everything and tell you to go to hell. But you know what? The way to get responsible and responsive leaders is to ask the people of Zamfara to control their gold. And you find out that the governor will not bring Chinese to exploit their gold and tell them that there's nothing. You find out that a Jakarta steel mill would have been working by now. You find out that, are you aware that our cocoa is about the best in the world? But where are the cocoa fields and farms anymore? People have left them to pursue rent-seeking government. So what we need in this country is to come back to the table to discuss the terms of our collective existence. I think that the time has come for us to simply, and putting it simply, dust up the Republican Constitution of 1963. In place of the regions, place the states. The states should control 50%, should take 50% of their revenue, give 20% to the federal government, and put 30% in a common pool to help each other in terms of emergency, in terms of major acts of God or security breach. That's what this country needs to succeed. We need people who are visionaries. And I expect that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who whilst he was the governor of Lagos State, championed the ideals of restructuring, rises up to the challenge. It is only through a restructured protocol, through a restructured Nigeria, can we have progress, greatness, and safety. We need state police, don't you think so?
Yes, we do.
We need men who understand their territory all over the world, even in Ghana here. You can't keep living in denial. You can't keep hiding behind one finger. A police headquarters in Abuja with the IGP in Abuja cannot effectively police and protect over 900,000 square kilometers. You can't do that. And then let me also say that this country is inclined to falsehood and self-denial and deceits. And what do I mean? I hear people call the governor of a state the chief security officer of the state. How can you be called the chief security officer when you cannot give instructions to the commissioner of police? Where does that happen? A governor can actually call the commissioner of police and he will drop the phone and say to him, sir, I do not take instructions from you. Except the IG asks me to do this, I will not do. And that's a provision of the law. So the time has come for us to revisit that law and ensure that we overhaul our dysfunctional superstructure, ensure that we torpedo and jettison this pseudo federal structure, which is absolutely unitary, and embrace true federalism. Only when we do so can this country grow, progress, and succeed.
So, in essence, in summary, what you're saying is that if the northern leaders continue in the trajectory of issuing this threat, it might get us to a point where finally everybody would agree to sit down and discuss about the future of Nigeria.
Absolutely so. And that's why I said, and I repeat without equivocation, that the actions, albeit inadvertent actions of the present government, will definitely lead us to that point where we'll sit down as a nation to discuss how we must unbundle this unwieldy and dysfunctional superstructure. My name is Professor Chris Mustafa Nwaokobia Jr. I'm the convener of Country First Movement. Anytime I need news, anytime I must listen to something instructive, encouraging, and if you like, informative, it's in Ginger Media. And Ginger Media is a station to watch. You must go online, find Ginger Media on YouTube, find Ginger Media on Facebook, find Ginger Media on X, Twitter, and join, follow Ginger Media, because with Ginger Media, you're sure to be effectively and adequately informed.